wondered what it would take to become a published illustrator at the age of 16, or living the dream of a successful songwriter and author promoting the release of not one, but 2 books and a song on the radio at the same time? Then stick around. When we come back, we talk to Thornton Cline and Lacie Jackson to find out more about how they did it. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Writers' Corner live show. I'm your host, Bridgetti.Live from Cape Town in South Africa. This stream is made possible by StreamYard and Creative Edge. To know when we go live, please go ahead and like our Facebook page so that you get the notification. And on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell. In today's show, we're going to be talking to Thornton Cline and Lacie Jackson about the first in their middle grade series called Mrs. P, Your Hair's on Fire. But before we bring them onto the show, let me say hello to my friend and co-host, Mary Elizabeth Jackson, who's a special needs and disabilities advocate and also the author of the Poohlicious children's book series. Mary, how are you?
I am wonderful today. And don't you just love the title of that book? It always makes me smile a little when I say it or chuckle. And yeah, I'm really excited about having Thornton and Lacie on today. And both of them have exciting stuff going on. And I'm so excited they're here to share it with us and our viewers.
Absolutely. So before we bring them onto the show, I want to say a warm welcome. We've got an audience on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Twitch, also on Facebook, and of course on YouTube. So if you're watching us live or whether you're catching the show on the replay, we absolutely love that you are here, that you are watching, and that you are sharing this with your friends. So a little bit about Thornton Cline, for those of you who've not met him. We've had him as a guest on the show before. But Thornton has authored 32 traditionally published books, and he'll tell me if I was incorrect on that figure. But he's also a Grammy and a Dove nominated author, as well as a Maxy Literary Award winner, and also Songwriter of the Year. He has been honored with a Platinum Award for the sale of over 1 million copies of his hit song, Love Is the Reason.
Isn't that crazy?
I know, right? I know. Amazing, amazing. And several of his books, not like one, but several of his books has reached the top 10 on Amazon. That is just crazy. And so today we're going to be talking about the one with the funny title.
Yes.
Mrs. P, Your Hair's on Fire. I just love that title. It's so,
know.
Out there, unusual.
And the cover is really great. It's very eye-catching. The cover is too.
I know. And as if that is not, phenomenal enough, he's also released at the same time a new adult thriller called A Novel Life. So there's going to be lots to talk about. And then, of course, we also want to welcome Lacie Jackson, who's a junior in high school. She has done 12 productions since the age of 9 years. And so Mrs. P, Your Hair's on Fire, which was written by Thornton, is her first published illustration work. And she's currently also writing a young adult novel that she's going to illustrate as well. So shall we invite them onto the show?
Yes, very exciting.
So welcome, Thornton and Lacie. Great to have you join us.
Hello there. Glad to be on your show, Bridgetti. Hello, Lacie. Hello, Mary. And it's just an honor. Great.
Yeah.
To be
Well, we are honored to have you both on and so excited. So we're going to jump right in. Do you want to jump right in, Bridgetti? Because we have a lot to talk about in a little bit of time.
Yes, absolutely. So, Lacie, let's jump in with you since you're the youngest team member on the show today. Tell us, what sparked your interest in the arts? How did you get into illustrating? Where did your love come from? Was it something natural that you developed? Was it something that your parents encouraged? Where did it come, and when did you discover you had this talent?
Well, when I was younger, I used to draw a lot because I felt the inspiration to, and whenever I liked something, I wanted to put it on paper and see it come to life, I guess, in my own style. Then I guess I just love to draw because of that.
Was it something that came naturally, or did you just sort of get started and then just kept on doodling and eventually realized this is a creative talent that you've got?
Well, I don't really remember when I started. I just remember doing it my entire life. And I guess it just was like an instinct, I guess. It was a part of me, always in my life.
That is wonderful. It's nice when, you discover you've got some kind of a talent when you're still very young. I think a lot of people only discover they've got a talent when they're old and gray. Sometimes, we had an author on here before who only published his book, I think, after 30 years. That's
right.
Crazy. So it's amazing when you can start this young. That is wonderful.
Yes. And I think she probably didn't, I don't know, because this is my daughter, so I'm super excited. So I would say as a parent, I know we're kind of getting off track here for a sec, but as a parent, I think encouraging children, and Thornton would agree with me as a music teacher, encouraging them to have a creative outlet, even if they don't ever end up doing something with it, is absolutely very healthy and growing, and helps them to grow. So, that was encouragement as a child, however she felt, go and draw it. If you can't talk about it, at least a child or a human adult, whoever, whatever your age is, we have an outlet through the arts in many formats. So I'm excited that it has taken off the way it has. Okay, Thornton. So I know you're a very, very busy guy. So does Bridgetti. And for those of you who haven't met Thornton, he's one of the busiest, hardest working guys I've ever met in my life. So, you're releasing 2 books at the same time, which is like incredible and an honor too. And they're in 2 different genres, which is even more crazy and awesome, right? And a new pop single. And you're doing it during COVID. So, for everybody who's out there not doing things because of COVID, well, throw that out the window because you're proving us wrong, right?
Well, I didn't plan it that way. For sure. It was, I guess it's supposed to happen the way it happens, but I didn't plan it that way. I think, wow, this is going to be a really busy fall. But the both books came out about the same time, and they coincided with each other. And then the single was released. They wanted to release the single before Christmas time or the holiday because, all the attention is given to Christmas songs and holiday songs and not enough to other genres. And so it all just kind of happened. Like I said, it could have been released all at different times this year, but it just all happened at one time. And I'm very excited and very, very grateful for it and everything. And I guess when it happens, it's supposed to happen in its time. And the radio hit singles was released yesterday to all radio stations worldwide, which is cool. So it'd probably be playing there in Cape Town, I would think. I would be, listen out for it. It's called Cry Myself to Sleep. And it was written last year, and it's recorded by a new Nashville pop artist named Lucky Boy, Luckie, Lucky Boy, young kid, young student, person that's 23 years old, not a student, but a young artist, 23 years old here in Nashville. So
that's exciting, very exciting, and a lot of work for you, right? Because your publishers that you have you lined up for different interviews. So you're kind of boom, boom, boom. You and Lily have an interview tomorrow, actually, on a Treva and Kevin show, which is a local show, but very exciting stuff.
It's very exciting. It's like I say again, I didn't plan that way. I guess the publisher set it up. This is my 4th interview today, this week, since Saturday. 4th interview straight in a row, and it'll be 5th tomorrow, which is great with Lily. So.
Yeah. Wow, that is amazing. So, so Lily, how did you get to illustrate Mrs. P, Your Hair's on Fire? Just tell us, how did that happen?
Thornton is a co-writer with my mom, and that's kind of how I met him. He's also my cello teacher, and he loved my art, and I was so happy to be a part of that.
Oh, that is amazing. Wonderful. I think that just speaks to the fact that when you see an opportunity, you really need to just seize the moment, because sometimes, opportunities stare us in the face, and we let them slip by. And I think this is just an example that when you use your connections, if you know people, and they can help you in a certain direction. Life is a give and take. Life is about helping one another, and so if you get that opportunity, just completely seize the moment is what I totally believe we should be doing.
Right. And we're supposed to be helping each other. So, and Thornton is really good about that. He does team up with a lot of people, and he does believe in motivating and promoting and inspiring. This is a great opportunity and a very unique opportunity at her age, which is super exciting. Okay. So Thornton, I want you to share with everybody the backstory, kind of briefly on Mrs. P and the novel life. I love both of these backstories. And, each book truly has a unique story unto itself, just like songs do, and where they came from and what the inspiration was behind them. I'm a person who always loves to hear this part because I think it helps you to be more connected with that story or song. So I always want to know what the deeper part of it is. So you want to share that with us real quick?
Sure, I'd love to. This is the beautiful hardcover.
I know. I love the cover.
Which is neat. And first of all, I want to say that Lily, it's an honor to work with her and to teach her, work with her together. And I feel like she's got great talents, a lot of talents and gifts too. And I think she'll just continue to use them until one day she's just like probably more well-known than all of us are put together. This right here, it says a dedication, and it's a dedication page. There's back 2 years ago, as I was teaching here at the school, Sumner Academy in Gallatin, Tennessee, USA. There's a science teacher here, and she happened to win an auction here to help the school, and she donated $750 at an auction, which is a very unusual story because I don't really have ever heard of anything such thing. But I offered whoever the winner was of this certificate would get to be in my next book, would be the character, can you believe it, of the book. And she said it was way beyond her expectations. Well, anyway, Mrs. P won it. Her name is Mrs. Platts, and you'll hear this for the first time. She doesn't mind me saying so. She's a science teacher at Sumner Academy. She's a great teacher. She's been here for a long time. Anyway, so she won the award, and then she wrote me a nice letter, like about 5-page letter about all her experiences as a teacher. And I drew from her letter and wrote the first book, which is called Mrs. P, Your Hair's on Fire, because it's actually based on a true story. And isn't that amazing? And so not only everybody won, just like Mary was saying, we all are here to help each other. So in other words, the school won. Sumner Academy in Gallatin, Tennessee got money, which helped the school. Mrs. P is the star in the book. She's the protagonist. Not only is Mrs. P, Lily she's the illustrator of the book. And hopefully Lily will be the illustrator of the book. I have to, of course, check it out, make sure with the publisher, but hopefully she'll be on many more of the books, book 2, book 3, and so forth. And then not only that, I got to write the book and share it with people, and people will get to read, a lot of people, which will help kids read, which is another benefit. And then another benefit is that I signed a 30 book contract deal till 2029. How cool is that? I think that's most unusual too, was offered that. And so I get to write 29 more of these. Actually, 3 are written already. three are already written, and the second book comes out in January. Isn't that cool? So
super cool. Okay, and tell a little brief synopsis of the backstory of the novel life, because that's very well, it's very creative too.
Right. You don't actually learn who wrote the book until the very end. Isn't that cool? So it's a 17-year-old kid. His name is Colton Tucker, and he goes to school in Chicago. He's bullied a lot, picked on, which is really sad. So he ends up going homeschooling and not finishing his whole senior year. And he writes this book. He thinks he wrote it himself. It's a debut. And he sends it to a thriller. It's a psychological thriller. He sends it to a guy named Arnold Turnbull, who's an editor-in-chief in New York City at the largest book company there, publisher. And he gets offered a contract of a huge amount of money for the book. And he gets a 60-city book tour. Well, on his way on his book tour in Laramie, Wyoming, he notices that everything that he's written in his book a year ago is all coming true, like we call deja vu moments. This is amazing. And he reunites with the love of his life, Taylor. And he realizes that something tragic is going to happen to her, because the end of the book, she's in the book throughout the book, as well as also the end of the book. And he has to stop this tragic ending from happening. So he approaches his publisher, Arnold Turnbull, who's a real tyrant and everything. And Mr. Turnbull refuses to change the ending at all. So Colton, the protagonist, has to take it into his own hands, destiny in his own hands. And you have to find out how this ends, because it's either something tragic is going to happen to Taylor, his love of his life, or something good happens.
Wow.
And so he's not really the author. We have to find out who's controlling his every move in the book. The kid, the 17-year-old kid, you think he's the author, but he's not. And so it really make a spectacular movie too, film and stuff. So
that'd be cool.
Lots of twists and turns. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it really messes you with your mind. It really messes with your mind, toys with your mind. So
who is your intended audience for this book, Thornton?
Oh, it's what we call a new adult. New adults are. I thought it was going to be a YA book, but actually the audience young adult book, but it's not, because it just misses the audience age for young adults. So it's really basically a 17-year-old to probably 30 years of age. That's what it would be. And that's a new category, by the way, new genre. And by the way, I do want to mention one thing. A novel life is a unique title. It hasn't been ever done before.
Wow.
I always clear my titles, check them. Mary knows about that. Check the titles.
We always check the titles, yeah.
And because I don't want to write a book that somebody else has already done title. Anyway, novel life is a double entendre, a word play, which I love to do word plays. And so it means not only the kid himself, 17-year-old, is a novel person. He's odd and strange and different things about him. He has an odd and strange life. But not only that, novel means that he's the actual character in the book that he wrote himself. So it's a novel. So you see how that plays on the double entendre thing.
Cool. Very cool.
Very clever. Where do you draw your inspiration from? I mean, you've written so many books, so what inspires you? What gets you writing?
Well, actually, I have written more than just 32. I've written 45 as of today.
Wow.
32 have been published traditionally. Mary can tell you that too. I've written all these books.
We have one where we have one. Yeah.
We have one together. Yeah, we have one together actually. And we have another one too. We have the Cheers from Heaven. But the inspiration comes. This is really unique. I'll give you several examples. I just try to always dream with my eyes open and look around me, because that's where the inspiration comes from, around me. It can be a person. It can be a subject. Something could happen to somebody. And it's all usually drawn from true stories. Like, for instance, one of my books called Sophie's Cast is a children's book. I woke up from a dream with that. It was totally written, everything, word for word. Can you believe it? Word for word, picture for picture. Everything came from a dream. Okay. Usually I see my books in pictures, like a motion picture. Isn't that amazing? Like, John Grisham and James Patterson, I took workshops with them, and they told me to always try to write with using what do they call it, outlines. But outlines are real constricting for me. Mary knows that too, and we talk about outlines and stuff. But to me, an entire beginning, middle, and end comes to me just like a motion picture, and I see it in my head, and I start writing it. Isn't that pretty amazing? So that's sort of how I draw from that. Just the same way with songs. One day I walked out of the building here, Sumner Academy, and it started snowing. Big chunks of snowflakes just came down, and I saw the kids around and how enchanted they were, and I saw the entire picture. The whole song came to me called Catch a Snowflake, and that's been really successful since 2014. It's been on the top of the charts worldwide. So,
what do you like most about the work that you create? Like, what is, I mean, you have won so many awards, but to you, what to you feels like your best project so far?
Oh boy. That one is that's tough. My best project probably might be one that I haven't published yet. I told Mary this too. It's a book which I'm pitching. I've been pitching. That means to shop it to for a movie, to a producer. He's still waiting, but it's called The Pristine Plot. And that is a double meaning too. I'll go ahead and tell you, it's an entendre. It's about a cemetery plot that's well kept, neatly put together, a family cemetery plot. I'll just give you a little bit about it. And during digging, the husband loses his wife to a drunk driver, and they're digging the cemetery plot for her, and they discover a time capsule. Isn't that cool? A time capsule buried deeply underneath the cemetery plot. And so it really becomes a plot. It's a plot to kill somebody, and I can't tell you all about that, but they discover something that over 100 years ago, a secret plot to kill somebody. Somebody very important.
Wow,
very
that sounds like a movie right there.
Like a world leader.
Yeah, I know. Thornton's got his mind never stops. It
never shuts down, does it?
No, it never does. And it's great. And he and I can be sitting on the phone talking, and it's like, oh, hey, we should write about that. It's like this fireworks always going off. It's fantastic. And I love it. And I think it's great because we're probably going to see so much more out of him because he has a long life of writing ahead of him, music and books. And it's exciting. Lily, I want to ask you what your drawing process is. Do you have a particular, where does your inspiration come from drawing, and what is your process?
Well, I like to listen to music when I'm drawing so I can focus and I can actually see the drawing when I close my eyes. I guess that's where I start. And, it starts out as a sketch and then.
Because you like to draw a lot. What is your favorite medium? Because I know for Mrs. P, it was pencil drawing. But what is there's lots of different mediums out there for art. So what is your favorite?
Well, I usually, I like more 2D traditional art, which I draw with my Copics, my markers. It is very fun, and I like being creative with it. Mm-hmm. I haven't mastered it yet, but there's a lot of things you can do with the markers, and it's really cool.
Okay, and what is your next project coming up? Because you're working on some other illustrations right now, aren't you?
Yes, I'm working on illustrations for Thornton's sister. It's a book called Lizzie the Librarian. It's a children's book, and I'm almost done with it.
And so what medium are you using for that?
My Copic markers.
So it's bright and colorful then, right?
Very colorful.
And so you've got some personal projects you're working on, don't you?
Yes, I have a couple books I would like to write, but of course I'll just start with one. But yes.
And what are they like? Are they fiction, fantasy, young kids, older kids?
They're fiction, but I'd like them to be for all ages. Not just little kids, and not just adults, so everyone can enjoy it.
Very nice.
That is awesome. Well, I wish you lots of success, with your journey ahead with illustration and also writing your book. Um, the time goes by so quickly. Thornton, I want to close off with asking you if you had to give advice to your younger self as an author, because there's other people out there who is only starting on their journey. If you had to give your younger self some advice, what would that look like?
Okay, I got it. It just popped in my head. So, okay. But first, I would like to say I want to thank you, by the way, for being on the show. Thank you all for that opportunity and honor. Okay. Second of all, I do want to thank my publisher, Intense Publications in Dallas, Texas, and also that's from the Mrs. P book. And then for the other book, the Novel Life, that's SYP, that's Southern Yellow Pine in Florida. So like Southern Yellow Pine Publishers. Now back to the advice. My best advice would be to not sit around and wait for opportunity to come along, but to create the opportunity. That's my advice for the people that are starting out in the career. A career could be started at 76, or like Grandma Moses, she started at 76, or you could start at 12, or you could start at 20. But whatever it is, my advice would be to create your own opportunities out there. Just start. Don't wait for somebody to come along or tell you this. Start searching for things, that opportunities out there. Look for them. They're on the internet. You got to be careful, of course, but look around. There's people in your neighborhood. There's people in your towns and cities that you can join with and start co-writing. There's people everywhere. You can find the opportunities. You just have to start searching and looking for them. But that would be my main advice, is to create opportunities. What do you think of that, Mary? Do you think that's
Absolutely. Don't wait for the right time to write or to do what you want. You just have to do what you have to do. My career started late in life, and so did yours. For where you are now, you've been doing a lot of things for a long time, but for like the level that you are now, it started later in your life. But if we wait for that right time to write and the right writing space and all that stuff, you're going to be waiting. You're just going to die before you get it done. I don't mean to sound
exactly.
awful,
No,
but it's the truth, right? There's a book right there, right?
Yeah. Write that book now. Die before you're done. Is that what?
Do it before you die, I guess, right?
Do it before you die. That's what.
Do it before you die. There you go.
Skip the bucket list. Just do it before you die.
Yeah, skip the bucket list. Forget that. Do it before you die. There you go.
That's hilarious. You should totally use that title. I love it.
Yeah. All right, that'll be the next one we write, Thornton.
Okay.
So Thornton, where can people connect with you?
Okay, well, it's Thornton. You have to put an N in like Nancy in the middle, so it's Thornton, THORNTON, Cline with a C, CLINE, like Patsy Cline, ThorntonCline.com. You can go to Amazon.com for the books. Our books are on there. Mary's books. Lily and I's books are on there. The Mrs. P books on there, and of course, I believe it's also on BarnesandNoble.com and all everywhere where fine books are sold. But Thornton Cline would probably be the way to start. THORNTONCLINE.com. I know it's a long name, so.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lily. It was lovely having you on the show, Thornton. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who's watched us today. Remember to write good stuff and to be inspired one conversation at a time. And so to know when we go live, please go ahead and like our Facebook page to get the notification, and on YouTube, subscribe. And if you want to be a guest on the show, then email us at contact@blivemedia.com. You are watching the Writers' Corner live show with Mary and Bridgetti, and our guests today, Thornton Cline and Lily Jackson. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.